and today we're going to be reading Miss Stoker is a Joker. And if you're new to the channel, well, this is just kind of an audiobook. And if you're waiting for the audiobook, I recommend Libby, because that's what I do. Anyway, I learned this book. I learned My Weirder-est School because of my brother, and he's not here right now, but this I read already. But I'm going to read it again for you guys. Now, today we're going to do chapter 1 and chapter 2. And if we have time, we'll do chapter 3. Now, this is all the chapters. There's 9 chapters. And I have a lot of books. Okay. 1. Surprise! Look, it's a drill lamp. That's a drill lamp, by the way. My name is AJ, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about ants. I know, because that's what I'm thinking about. Did you know a drone ant lives just 3 days? 3 days! That's its whole life. What can you do in 3 days? That's not even time. That's not even enough time to go on a vacation. Not that drones take vacations. Where do they go? Next door. Some vacation. I looked this up. Male mosquitoes only live about 1 week. That's it. If you're a male mosquito, I guess you could at least go on a vacation for a week. But as soon as you get home from vacation, you drop dead. Bummer in summer. If I was a mosquito on vacation, I wouldn't be able to enjoy myself. Because the whole time, I'd be thinking about dropping dead the minute I got home. That would be one crummy vacation. My parents are 40-something years old. That's really old. Well, it's old compared to ants and mosquitoes. Anyway, I'd rather be a person than ant or mosquito. At least you could take a vacation without worrying so much. The point is, I was in Mr. Cooper's class at school the other day. We had just pledged the allegiance and the word of the day. Turn to page 23 in your math book, said Mr. Cooper. Ugh, I hate math. When I'm grown up, I'm going to be a professional skateboarder. I don't need to know math. I don't need to know how to do a kickflip. Why don't they teach that in school? But it must have been my lucky day. Before I could open my math book, an announcement came over the loudspeaker. Grades K through 5, please report to the all-purpose room for a surprise assembly. Yay! That's also yay backwards. Surprise assemblies are cool. Well, not all surprise assemblies. Not all surprises. Yeah, surprises are cool. Well, not all surprises. If I was walking down the street and a zombie jumped and ate out from behind the tree and ate my brains, that would be a surprise. Would it be very cool? Bring up, everybody, said Mr. Cooper. We got in line and walked 1,100,000 miles to the all-purpose room. The whole day I was in there. I had to sit between crybaby Emily and annoying Andrea. And this curly brown girl, I'll be back in a few minutes, Mr. Cooper told. He got up and went backstage behind the curtain. I noticed a bunch of other teachers got out of their seats, and I don't know why they call it all-purpose room. And there is no dolphins in there. And went backstage too. That was weird. I bet the teachers are going to put on a play for us, said Andrea, clapping her hands. Clapping her hands. I'm sure you're right, said Andrea. Who always thinks Andrea's right? Said Emily, who always thinks Andrea's right. But the teachers did not put a play for us. Instead, the weirdest thing in the history of the world happened. Sneak peek, shall I give you? Nah. Mr. Klutz, our principal, walked into the all-purpose room. Well, that's not the weird part. Mr. Klutz walks into the all-purpose room all the time. The weird part was what happened next. All the teachers jumped out behind the curtain and yelled, "Surprise!" A big banner dropped from the ceiling. "Happy 65th birthday, Mr. Klutz." Wow, that's Mom upside down. I didn't know Mr. Klutz was 65 years old. Okay, next. That old. 65 years old. That's almost 100. Well, 35. Miss Hall, our lunch lady, wheeled out a big cake with lots of candles on it. Everybody sang, "Happy birthday, Mr. Klutz." Mr. Klutz, happy birthday to you. Mr. Klutz made a wish and blew out the candles. "Are we getting cake?" I whispered to Angie's ear. "Do you? Is that all you care? Is that all you care about? Cake? Is that all you care about, Marla? Cake?" She whispered back. "No," I told her. "I also care about cookies and ice cream and candy." Okay, he's here. And if you didn't listen to that, I'll just say it again. Are we getting cake? I whispered to Andrea's ear. "Is that all you care about? Cake?" She whispered back. "No," I told her. "I also care about cookies and ice creams and candy." Andrea rolled her eyes. Why can't a truck full of cake fall on Andrea's head? I was going to say something mean to her. But you'll never believe who walked through the door at that moment. Nobody! It would hurt if you walked into a door. Doors are made of wood. But you'll never believe who walked into the doorway. It was Dr. Carbos, the president of the Board of Education. He's a mean man who drives a tank. He's always trying to shut down our school. What is his problem? What is his problem? Dr. Carbos was smiling as he climbed up on stage and put his arms around her. Like I'm doing to Ari. Mr. Klutz. Arms on Mr. Klutz. That was weird. Everybody started whispering. I'm sorry. Everybody started whispering. Where was I? I thought Dr. Carbos hated Mr. Klutz, whispered Andrea. Me too, whispered Emily, who always thinks everything elementary and things. By the way, pop it. The car. That was weird. Everybody was sorry this week. I thought I was about, yeah. Dr. Carbles, said Mr. Klutz. To what do we owe the pleasure of your company? That's grown-up talk for. What are you doing here? I have an announcement to make, said Dr. Carbles. Dr. Carbles has an announcement to make, whispered Michael, who never ties his shoes. Dr. Carbles has an accountant to make, whispered Alexia, this girl who rides a skateboard all the time. Dr. Carbles has a mountain to rake, whispered Neil, who we called the news. Even though you wear clothes. Dr. Carbles has a muffin to bake, whispered Ryan, who eat anything, even stuff that isn't food. Dr. Carbles is gonna jump in a lake, whispered Emily. Everybody was buzzing. But not like bees. That would be weird. I wanted to wish you a happy 65th birthday, Mr. Klutz, said Mr. Carbles, and to congratulate you on your retirement. What? Mr. Klutz was retiring? He never told us that he never told us that. He looked surprised as we were. All the teachers just stood there with their mouths open. Everybody was in shock. There was only one person on the stage who had a smile on her face. It was our vice principal, Miss Jaffe. According to the Board of Education rule number 456789, said Mr. Carbles, 65 years old is the mandatory retirement for principals, blah, 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 blah. He went on like that for a while. I've never heard of rule 456789, said Mr. Klutz. Yeah, I just wrote it yesterday, said Dr. Carbles. A big banner dropped from the ceiling and covered up the first banner. Happy retirement, Mr. Klutz! Suddenly, everybody started yelling and screaming and hooting and hollering and freaking out. Happy retirement, Mr. Klutz! Mrs. Jaffe. Wait. Yeah, Mrs. Jaffe. Smiling. But this. Everybody's crying. Only these two are smiley. They bad guys. No! Shouted Michael. Say it ain't so! We love Mr. Klutz! Shouted Neil. Don't go! Shouted Ryan. Some of the first graders were crying. Even some of the teachers were crying. This was the worst thing to happen since National Poetry Month. We wouldn't have thrown you a surprise party, Mr. Cooper, said Mr. Cooper, if we had known this was going to happen. Mr. Klutz held up his hand and made a peace sign, which means shut up. He took the microphone off its stand. It's okay, he told us. Calm down, everyone. All things must pass. Maybe it's for the better. I was going to retire in a few years anyway. Blah, 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 blah. Dr. Carbles grabbed the microphone. Okay, beat it, you rotten kids, he shouted. Go back back to your classes and learn something for a change. We pringled up and walked back to our classroom. As we were passing the principal's office, I saw Mr. Klutz taking his nameplate off the door with a screwdriver. "Hey, Klutz!" shouted Dr. Carbles. "You have 5 minutes to clear out your office, and don't let me see you back here. Ever!" Dr. Carbles was rubbing his hands together and saying, "Wah-ha-ha," which is what grown-ups always do when they plan to take over the world. "At last, I got rid of that loser Klutz," muttered Dr. Carbles. "With him out of the way, I can hire a new principal. A principal who's totally incompetent. Then I can shut down this terrible school." Okay, I have 2 questions. Why was Dr. Carbles talking to himself? And why would he want a principal who can't go to the bathroom? That doesn't make any sense at all. Dr. Carbles is losing his marbles. Chapter 2. The Long Goodbye. After this, I'm going to cut to you. Everybody was sad that Mr. Klutz had to retire. It was hard to pay attention in Mr. Cooper's class while he was trying to teach us math and social studies. "Okay, everyone," said Mr. Cooper. "Let's try to focus." "Why should we focus?" I asked. "We're not cameras." "That's not that kind of focus, Arlo," said Andrea, who calls me by my real name, because she knows I don't like it. I was yanking Andrea's chain. I know what focus means. When it was time for lunch, none of us were in the mood to eat. We went out to play on the monkey bars during recess, but all anybody could talk about was Mr. Klutz. "I can't believe he has to retire," said Ryan said with tears in his eyes. "Mr. Klutz is the only principal we've ever had, and he's even not that old," said Alexia. "Bald men don't look as old they are," said Neil, "because they can't lose any more hair." "I heard that when some people get old," I said, they get put on ice floes and floated off into the sunset." "That's not a thing, Arlo," Andrea said, rolling her eyes. "It is too a thing," I told her. "No way, that's a thing," said Andrea. "It's a thing," I insisted. We went back and forth like that. For a while. "Ooh, AJ and Andrea are arguing about what a thing is," said Ryan. "They must be in love. When are you two gonna get married?" If those guys were my best friends, I would hate them. Andrea and I kept arguing over whether it was not to put old people on ice floes. Then I remember we were talking about Mr. Klutz. He was a great principal. One time, I said, I got sent to the principal's office because I was bad. I thought he was going to punish me, but instead he gave me a candy bar. Remember the time he climbed up to the top of the flagpole and got stuck there? Asked Ryan. Remember the time he let us dye his head? He let us dye his head like an Easter egg? Asked Andrea. Remember the time he married a turkey? Asked Michael. Ah, those were the good old days. Mr. Klutz was nuts, but he was a good principal. I bet we're gonna get some boring, normal principal. Said Neil. Maybe Miss Jaffe will be our new principal, said Emily. Yes, agreed Yes, agreed. And yes, agreed, Andrea. When the president leaves office in the middle of the term, the vice principal becomes president. So Miss Jaffe should be the new principal. Mrs. Jaffe is no fun at all, groaned Michael. That's when the weirdest thing in the history of the world happened. Our marching band marched out of the school. They formed a line on the playground and started to play some songs called Hail to the Chief. Where did that marching band come from? Asked Ryan. Rent a marching band, I told him. You can rent anything. Some of the teachers below blew their noses into tissues. Well, not actually. Wait. A custodian, Mrs. Lazar. Wait. Yeah. Our custodian, Mrs. Lazar, rolled a long red carpet out into the playground. Mr. Klutz came out of the school and walked on the red carpet. Some soldiers came out and gave a 21-gun salute. 5 jet planes flew in formation overhead. I didn't realize that changing principals was such a big deal. Suddenly, there's a weird noise in the distance. I couldn't tell what it was at first. Look, up in the sky, shouted Andrea. It's a bird. No, it's a plane, shouted Ryan. Actually, it was a helicopter. It was blue, and it hovered over our heads and landed on the blacktop. Miss Lazar set up a microphone for Mr. Klutz. We gave him a round of applause. Thank you, students, he says. It has been my honor, blah, 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 blah. All these years at elementary school, blah, 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 blah. Fine young people, blah, blah, blah. Carry on, blah, blah. Youth of America, blah, blah, blah. Future lies on your hands, blah, 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 blah. He said some more stuff, but I was looking at the helicopter. Helicopters are cool. Mr. Klutz climbed into the helicopter as we all waved goodbye. There was a lot of sniveling and sobbing and slobbering. Some of the teachers blew their noses into tissues. Well, not exactly. They just blew their snot into the tissues. It would be weird to blow your nose into a tissue. How would you get your nose back on your face? The helicopter flew away. Mr. Klutz waved goodbye to the little window. It was the end of an era at elementary school. Well, I guess he's gone forever, said Alexia. Wait a minute, said Ryan. Doesn't Mr. Klutz live right down the street? Why is he taking a helicopter home? He could walk home. It's more dramatic this way, said Andrea. I wonder if Mr. Klutz takes a helicopter to the supermarket to do his groceries, I said. How did he get a helicopter anyway? Asked Neil. From rent a helicopter, I told him. You can rent anything. Miss Jaffe, the vice principal, came over to us. Okay, everybody, she said. The show is over. Time to go back to your class. Are you going to be the new principal, Miss Jaffe? Asked Emily. Not yet, she said. Dr. Garbles has the final decision. Hiring a new principal could take time. He will probably place an ad in the newspaper and interview a bunch of people for the job. It could be weeks or months before there's a new replacement for Mr. Klutz. I hope he picks you. You would make a great principal. I agree, said Emily. Of course, what a pair of brown noses those two are. Mrs. Jeffy wasn't even the principal yet, and they're already sucking up to her. It has always been my dream to become a principal, said Mrs. Jeffy. That's when the weirdest thing in the history of the world happened. But I'm not gonna tell you what it was. Okay, I'll tell you. But you have to read the next chapter, so na boo boo on you. Also on you, because the show ends here now. But I'll just see chapter 3. I'll just say it. Meet Mrs. Stoker. Wow, we're gonna see the Mrs. Stoker. And she is over here. In case you didn't know, that's Mr. Stoker. That's Mrs. Stoker. And subscribe for part 2. I don't know why I'm making parts. My throat hurts. Okay. And bye. And my brother is joined a few minutes ago. He said hi, but bye guys. And if you liked two chapters of the book so far so good, comment down below. I really want some comments going. Yeah. So, bye guys.